All right, so it's catch up time. I watched the Book of Boba Fett episode 5. Um and I also watched Peacemaker episode 5, so they're going to be pretty close in release whenever I upload this video. But I couldn't watch the episode yesterday, so I'm kind of behind, but regardless of that, I still want to talk about the Book of Boba Fett episode 5, which you could call the Mandalorian. And it's so weird with this episode because um this literally is feels just like it's not even from the Book of Boba Fett. It's just an episode from the Mandalorian, which is very interesting because it makes sense in the context that you have to make, if like they're gonna have Din Djarin be in here, they're gonna have to establish him. They're gonna have to make a reason to have him in this show. But just watching this episode, it felt like we were just watching a episode of The Mandalorian because literally everything is just about Din Djarin. Boba Fett does not appear in this episode. Fennec Shan does at the end, which makes sense in terms of her and Boba Fett's connection, in which the last few episodes of this show, Boba and Fennec Shan are trying to create like a battalion of people. Because now they're the rulers of Jabba's palace, or Bib Fortuna's palace, like taking over from him. But that's how it connects. But it feels like the whole episode is really just its own thing. But still, regardless of that, I thought this episode was really, really good. It's great to see Din Djarin back. It's great to see him just being a badass and seeing all this fun like imagery. There's a moment where they do this in Star Wars a lot. For example, in Rogue One, Darth Vader in the dark with his lightsaber blasting or lighting up. And then in The Mandalorian Season 2 with Luke Skywalker at a distance with his lightsaber lighting up. Then this has Jin or Din behind, I forgot what they're called, but they're like clear things. They're like in a meat department kind of clear door where like you can see inside but not really. But you see him with the dark saber, and it's a really cool image and it's really awesome. And I forgot, it's been a while since I've watched The Mandalorian, so I think at the end of that season 2, I guess that he did win the dark saber back, um, or win the dark saber. So I kind of was forgetting that whenever I watched this episode, just because it's been since it came out, season 2, that I've watched it. I haven't rewatched it again, um, so it took me a minute to really remember that. But I like that he's got the dark saber. I think that's awesome. Even though it kind of reverts back to not like the show The Mandalorian was really trying to be kind of un-Star Warsy with no Jedis. And now having the dark saber, it's gonna make it feel kind of like a Jedi a little bit, which isn't a problem for me. But I could see why somebody would have an issue with it, with the tone that they're doing so far, trying to sway away from the Jedi, trying to do something that is different. Um, but it is still interesting to see him have that dark saber. That is interesting. Um, I like seeing the base where the other Mandalorians are. I thought that was really cool. I like the fact that Jin is going to meet Grogu again in this. You don't see it, but he's going to meet Grogu, and this is after Mandalorian season 2. So Luke Skywalker has taken Grogu with him, but he says that he is going to see him again, which I think is great because we had that really great ending in season 2 of The Mandalorian of him losing Grogu, or not losing him, but giving him to his rightful thing, to Luke Skywalker, to the person to train him. So it was very touching and very good in that last episode. So I like seeing that they're gonna establish that they're gonna connect again, Jin and Grogu, because their relationship was so good in the show. So that's great. Again, it's just a Mandalorian episode because you even got that crazy kooky lady on Tatooine, who has the pit droids from the Phantom Menace. And speaking of the Phantom Menace, it's so interesting that they went this route, but I do like this. So Jin has lost his ship, and I'm blanking on the ship. I knew the name right before I was about to say it, but then I immediately forgot what it was called. Um, but the ship that Jin had and is gone. Um, I like the fact that his replacement ship is an Naboo N1 starfighter. That would be the most ironic shit if like that's Anakin Skywalker's one that he flew in Episode 1, because in The Mandalorian there's an episode where I forgot what the character's name is, but Timothy Oliphant, where he's riding on part of a pod racer which looks like Anakin's pod racer. So that would be weird, weird if like it's like two different things that Jin has connected to Anakin Skywalker. Like that just seems kind of ridiculous, but also there's more than one Naboo N1 starfighter, of course, the yellow ones. There were, of course, more than one. I'm not saying that it's just going to be Anakin's. There were a lot of them. Of course, the Queen Naboo, Queen Amidala had all these made. So and I like how Amidala was mentioned by name as well. That's cool to see Padme in by name. Of course, Natalie Portman isn't going to come back, but I like hearing the name of Padme. That's cool, or Queen Amidala. I think that's cool with those connections. Um, yeah, and then that kooky lady is very interesting. The one who, like I said, has the pit droid. She's the one who gives Jin the N1 starfighter, but they make it silver. Like they get rid of all the yellow and they make it look like kind of like his ship that he lost, which is really cool. So I really dug that. I thought that was really awesome and fascinating that they use something old and they connect it into this, which is really well done, and I really enjoyed that. It reminded me of, they didn't say this in the movies, but it reminded me of the new trilogy where Captain Phasma was made of metallic silver, which I think was made up from the Royal Naboo ships, from Phantom Menace in Naboo. So that was really cool with that connectivity too. I mean, it's just a little nerd thing, but I like those moments and those kind of things. I know Star Wars, I do love the movies. I have not delved into enough of the expanded media in terms of the books. I've read a couple, but I haven't read them all. Definitely not. I've only read like two or three. Um, in terms of all the new canon stuff, I've mostly watched the movies, mostly watched the shows. I've seen every show except for Resistance, which I will watch sometime. But I do really love Star Wars, and those moments that are obvious moments like that, like obvious nods to that, I definitely notice those references, and I really like that reference, or those kind of references, especially so many Phantom Menace references in this one. It was surprising. Um, I just didn't expect that many, but that's great. So yeah, really good episode. Like I really dug it. I thought it was really entertaining and really fun. Can't wait for next week. So I'll see you guys there. Take care.